Hey guys, my name's Hap and this is the IS-2Sh, a tier 8 Russian premium heavy tank, and you don't see this one often if at all. It's possibly one of the more rare tanks in the tier, as it disappoints a lot of people that get it since it isn't the traditional brainless Russian tank. No, they're completely wrong on that. The 2Sh is a nice tank that makes me think, and that's probably why I like it so much. And it can also make a nice amount of cash too. It's definitely a good tank, but it's also quite surprising because you can't play this one as a typical IS tank at tier 8. I was very close to getting it when it came out in the initial event, but I had to do something and as such I lost the last precious 2 hours that I had for the tank. But hey, I've gotten it on Black Friday last year thanks to Meadsy, the grub, and while I was terrible with it when I started it, I have gotten better since. The Tiger 1 video will arrive later than expected. Anyways, let's just get right to it. The gun is just typically Russian. It's inaccurate, though not as much as the IS-5's gun, possibly due to a slightly smaller aim time, which helps by an unbelievable amount. You wouldn't believe how frustrating it is to miss every shot in the IS-5. Surprisingly, that's why I run the refined gun instead of the vertical stabilizer, and sure, the refined gun improves the aim time, but it's not that useful when you're on the move since Stalin guides your shells anyway. The 2Sh also has surprisingly good gun depression, which is somewhat limited by the rear-mounted turret, but we'll get to that later. The shell velocity is just insane. It's one of the best in the tier, probably. I like it, but Russian tanks usually aren't all about the guns, and that matters especially for the heavies, because goddamn I'm sick of the easy armor profiles of literally every Russian heavy. This one hits the sweet spot for me. Deep breaths. Calm down. There's nice trees, no more napalm. Nice kittens, yes. Where did we stop? Ah, yes, the armor. The armor is surprisingly not idiot-proof, and that's probably my favorite part about the tank. It doesn't hold your hand, it expects you to already know the meat and potatoes of heavy tanking. And the side armor makes this such an awesome side scraper. I mean, would you try and brawl with such a huge and weak lower glacis? Probably not. I'll show you later on in the replays how weak the glacis actually is, but that will take some time, I suppose. The turret is, well, relatively strong, but don't expect it to hold up particularly well against tier 8 and 9 TDs. Also, the rear-mounted turret, since that limits the gun depression just a tiny bit, it's not too recommended to side scrape on ridges with this thing, even though it has 7 degrees of gun depression. I'd recommend to get lupus in that situation or just American heavy tank. The side armor, while strong, isn't also idiot-proof, however. You have to make sure it's at the right angle, otherwise the enemy will easily pen it and you will get fuel tank damage. Nice fuel placement, Russia. The mobility is really nothing to talk about. It gets the job done and turns pretty well for a tank like this, but it doesn't weigh a lot for a heavy tank, so you shouldn't expect legendary rams like with the KB4 and 5. As for other stuff, you probably already noticed that I load a lot of basic APCR and only 8 heat shells, since the penetration is already quite good and I don't really need to compensate for it with heat that much. I run the tank with double rations and improved fuel, and then the gun rammer, improved modules, improved optics, and the gun laying drive. I then run the enhanced armor for kinda obvious reasons, the improved control, but the accelerator is also completely fine, and then the refined gun. I would then run the toolbox and the consumable delivery system. Since this is now past us, the only thing you need to know is that I don't have the cash for the legendary camouflage, but I had a certificate for Jade shots, so I used that instead, and now I'm slightly happier than before. And let's get into the replays, back of my improvised voicing. Also, all of them are from platoons with some of my real nibbers. Alright, Canyon, the first battle with one of my clanmates, BDK, and I hope you liked that image of bred, because you won't be able to see it again for the rest of this video. Now, before the battle began, he was just asking me how the tank is, so I just like, I can say more on Discord, and I did. I posted like a way too long paragraph for him to bother reading, to be honest, and then I put a forum link, but anyways, this is a standard tier 8 battle. I'm pretty sure all of the battles in there are in the game, in the video are like that, not the game. Why? And to be honest, I think I got really lucky in the initial minute or so, because the enemy Chrysler K and the enemy Rudy just do the possibly stupidest thing that they could have done, and that was to push over the bridge, just directly in our line of fire. You can see it here with the Chrysler. And honestly, even though if the gun is a bit bad, like, it can hit that perfectly fine. Anyways, as I was saying, the lower glacis is definitely a pretty big weak point. You might see it sometimes here in this video, but he was aiming for my lower glacis, and then yeah, the best thing you can do is to try and hide it from other enemies, although some of them will probably still be able to pen your upper glacis, because even though it's 130mm sloped rather well, it isn't exactly strong, I would say. And that's why you rely on side scraping so much, because, oh yeah, here, check the lower glacis. This is an MX-1375, he's firing normal AP, everything is going through. It's perfectly fine. No issues whatsoever. That's why you should hide it at all costs. That's a Chrysler K down, and I think the MX-13 is going for another round. Yeah, this time he even lights me on fire. Then I bounce a smasher for no reason. Yeah. BDK finishes off the AMX, and right now he's probably having a bit of trouble with the T-34 Falcon. And then he'll have issues with the Smasher, as the Smasher is such a monster that I would refuse to buy it even if I had the money to do so. I still don't have the money. Come on. So now the only thing that we have basically left in this battle is to just, push against the Smasher, which is kinda the only option we have left, because there's only a WZ for 111 something. I completely forgot the name. Like whose idea was it to name those? I think BDK gets hit a bit, maybe. So I'm just going up and I'm gonna smash the Smasher. Up close and personal, the gun definitely works much better, but when you're a bit further, the gun just completely sucks. You shouldn't try to shoot things at a distance with it, but that's kinda it from this battle. 2,973 damage, 1,725 blocked. Not a bad result, actually. That's quite solid for this tank. But what I did not expect was a crucial contribution Brothers in Arms in the first class out of it, and even 31,000 credits made. So hey, every little bit helps. Alright, this one is with a platoon mate, our chief from Risk, and we're on Himmelsdorf. This time it's a tier 9 battle, and this one is gonna be also a bit quicker with me not doing particularly anything interesting through this battle, but I think I can talk over it a bit and see if you can like the tank, or if I'll be able to sell it to you. So, was the tank worth 5,000 gold? I think so, yes. I had about 10,000 spare gold during the 5.5 updates, and as such I spent it on the Independence and the 2SH and then the Type 64, which I would definitely want to review, but I've heard rumors of it being buffed right now, so I want to take some care with that. But the IS-2Sh definitely isn't a tank for newer players. I mean, just look at this Ferdinand. I need to interrupt this for a second. This is the saddest thing I've seen all day. Come on, he's already dead. Come on. What's so complicated? Okay, so probably the biggest issue is that you can't play it like an IS-5 or an IS-3 or basically anything with a spearhead, because you just can't go forward and expect good results. No, if you just go forward, you're only showing your weak spots to the enemies. You should go to them at an angle. Not too sharp of an angle, because then they'll be able to hit your side armor perfectly or your drive wheels, and they'll be able to pen them without any issues. But if you go at them like at a sort of a diamond, like I don't know, 25 to 30 degrees max, then you'll be able to increase your effective armor by quite a lot, and mediums should struggle quite a bit with actually going through your armor. You shouldn't try and point the turret away from the enemy at all costs, since the side of the turret isn't something like on a T-54, or, you know, basically any one of those turrets, like on the Type 59 as well. But if you do it like this, if you go at an angle, you can bounce a lot. I just over-angled here and gave him a shot for my fuel tanks. That's what I already mentioned. The right side has the fuel tanks. I don't think the left side has the fuel tanks. I'm not too sure about that, but if you can, try and show the left side to the enemy instead of that. So, okay, this Type 59, I just gotta interrupt again. Look, oh yeah. He could have gone away. He could have ran away and probably gotten away with it, but yeah, he just hit the rails instead. How do people do this? Anyways, like, really, unless you don't have much practice with heavy tanking, then there isn't much help that I can actually give you with the IS-2Sh, because it's so reliant on experience with the tanks. Like, it's probably not good for tournaments, but it's probably one of the best platoon tanks I have ever played. It's so fun platooning this with an AMX M449 or an IS-6. Oh yeah, here's the battle results. I was talking too long. Whoops. Okay, 2,193 damage, nothing interesting really. Another crucial contribution, and Brothers in Arms, and a Top Gun. Archie did much better than me, but I did a bit of assistant damage. Anyways, I'll see you on the final battle, as always. Alright, and the final battle is on Dead Rail with one of my friends, Vasi, from EMS. It's a nice guy. Secret advertisement, don't ignore that. We've just been using voice chat, so there's just nothing of us chatting in here, just completely nothing. Vasi was complaining about not hitting anything well, so I took all of the good shots. But you should also know a very important rule with the IS-2Sh: RNG giveth and RNG taketh. You might get some ridiculously good shots, and then you'll just bounce everything. You have to be prepared for it in this kind of tank, and not just this. The IS-5, the IS-6, the WZ-112-2, the Glacial, basically any IS-like thing is prone to RNG giveth, RNG taketh. Like, if you take a look here, I can get a nice comfy shot. But, yeah, I should hide. But, really, the best thing to do with these kinds of videos, in my opinion, is show and don't tell. You have to rely on people, like, absorbing the information given to them through these replays. So you have to cherry pick, like, the ideal replays, which just show what the tank's prime element is, just how good it can perform in a specific situation. And from there, you want the people to know that. That's what I'm trying to do with these videos, and And the commentary during these replays I only consider secondary, that's why I'm doing it improv. Oh yeah, watch this shot. Last he was like, oh, I can't hit this, and I'm like, watch this, in Mother Russia, we hit tanks trunk. And then I just flagged. If you think some of the shots that I'm pulling here aren't ridiculous already, just watch the one I get on the ISU in about 15 seconds. Or 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, now. So, people ask me, like, why do I like this tank so much? And I honestly really don't know. It's like with the Type 61, like, it just suits my tastes perfectly. And that's why I really can't recommend this tank to everyone. It's a very good tank, just like Meatsy says, but being honest, there's better tanks for newer players and players who like a hardcore Russian tanking style. If you want something like that, just get a tier 8 Russian heavy that isn't like this. Just get an IS-3. That one is basically the same, and even though it loses a lot in hull armor, just you probably wouldn't care at that point. It has a very strong turret. But being honest, I can't really talk much about the 2Sh. I'm sorry. I had a lot of preparations for this video. I prepared some very nice replays and everything. And then when I came to actually covering, voicing the replays, I thought yeah, this will be easy because I know how to play the tank. I think I'll be able to tell you people how to play it. No. No, because I'm an idiot. God damn it. Anyways, that is kinda it for me. 3000 damage, 1300 blocked. You can expect to block a lot of shots in the IS-2Sh with some precise maneuvering, but that happens in every tank, doesn't it? Anyways, my name is Hap. If you somehow liked this video, feel free to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you all later. Hopefully the Tiger one will be up next. Anyways, bye for now.